Welcome to Crypto West Coast, where we discuss crypto from a Canadian perspective. My name's Damien, and today we're going to take a look at the interesting journey that Bitcoin and the crypto asset space has taken in the past few months. As I have spoken about many times on this channel, Bitcoin is the leader of this asset space. Looking at the Bitcoin chart since the beginning of 2021, it went on a big run to $65,000 US on April 13th, and since then it's taken a downward turn. I myself did not hear about many people calling for such a downturn in the market back in April. In fact, the call for $100,000 or more Bitcoin were still the rage. At the time, people like Robert Kiyosaki and Mark Yusko were predicting Bitcoin prices in 5 years. The rage at the time was about where Bitcoin was headed, not where it was going to fall to. But who knows? They still might hit these price predictions of 1.2 million or $250,000 in 5 years. But as I dug a little deep into past headlines, there were hintings about a possible downturn in the market. As this headline indicates, investment manager Guggenheim warns of major correction in Bitcoin, which came out a few weeks before Bitcoin actually did take a downwards turn. And the meme coins such as Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, SafeMoon were all the talk on Twitter and YouTube. There were always hints from those more experienced than I that warned that when everyone is getting excited, it's time to worry about a drop in the crypto market, but almost no one I listened to on Twitter or YouTube were making a prediction that Bitcoin was about to take a downwards turn in the middle of April. So lately, the talk is whether Bitcoin hit its top at $65,000 US and is now in a bear market and will last for who knows how long, hopefully not another 3 years like it was in just the past cycle, or whether this is a little reprieve as everything consolidates and once again, Bitcoin and the other coins will go on to make new all-time highs. So what happened to cause the Bitcoin price to drop in April and bring down all the other altcoins with it? Prior to the drop, all the news was positive. Tesla had bought Bitcoin and they were also going to accept it as payment. Many people, including celebrities, were putting laser eyes on their Twitter accounts. PayPal enabled cryptocurrency payments. Ethereum went over $4,000 US. A Simpsons episode priced Bitcoin at infinity. Many major investment firms were announcing that they were putting Bitcoin on their balance sheets, and the news goes on and on and on. But then the narrative changed. Elon and Tesla announced that they were not going to accept Bitcoin as payment since Bitcoin mining was considered bad for the environment. But to think that Elon and Tesla had no idea how Bitcoin was mined and how much energy is used in the mining process seems ridiculous. As well, other organizations such as Greenpeace also showed their displeasure with the fact that Bitcoin mining was harmful to the planet due to the amount of power supposedly going into the mining process. Then followed the great debate as to how harmful Bitcoin really was when compared to other forms of mining and how much power the traditional financial system uses on a daily basis. Then came the rumors that China was banning Bitcoin. Only, China has banned Bitcoin before, and as this meme suggests, they will do it again in the future. Then there was the news that China was prohibiting Bitcoin mining, which they have done to some extent, and all the YouTube and Twitter were full of images like these of mining farms packing up and leaving. However, as Crypto Chico pointed out, do not believe everything that you see and hear in the Twitter and YouTube universe, as this portion of his video points out.
And here is what's so interesting. Documenting Bitcoin posted a tweet and picture. They said China's $1 trillion mistake, Bitcoin miners being shipped away, with a picture of what looks like a farm being packed up and set up for shipping. Well, those miners are not new mining machines. Those are old as freak, like ancient old miners. They're actually Antminer V9s, which only produce a max hash rate of 4 terahashes per second. The standard for mining is the S19 right now, and it produces up to 95 terahashes with the Pro. Why would obsolete miners, which belong in the trash, be being shipped to other parts of the world? They wouldn't be. They would be going in the trash. And this picture is probably freaking old. Unless this picture is just to fuel a narrative. And that isn't the only sus picture coming out of China. One of the original ones posted last Monday by a Molly on Twitter that went viral said, Bitcoin mining farm in Sichuan after the government ban. And it looks like an operation being dismantled. But it's not. Just zoom in a bit. That is a spool of new wire. That isn't a farm being taken down. It's most likely a data center being built. You don't have spools of new wire for a demolition. You have spools of new wire for construction.
And I've shared the link to Chico's video down in the description. Some will argue that all this negative news, particularly around Bitcoin in the last few months, is FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and that this FUD is spread by large investors, also known as whales, who are manipulating the market to make the price go down and to scare people into selling their coins. When the price drops and when people sell, these whales will come in and buy up those Bitcoins at a cheaper price and hang on to them in the long term as the price of Bitcoin eventually goes up in value. And now lately in crypto news, several countries and jurisdictions, including the province of Ontario, have been moving to ban the use of unregulated crypto exchanges, including Binance, particularly in relation to those exchanges that offer leverage trading. This is very similar to regulations that already exist in some states, including New York and Texas. A brief summary of leverage trading is as follows. Crypto leverage trading is a tool for investors to open a long or short position that is much larger than their own capital by leveraging borrowed funds in a transaction. This allows the person to maximize potential profits by increasing their buying power using a small amount of money. In other words, users can leverage their existing cryptocurrency or dollars by borrowing funds to increase their buying power, generally paying interest on the amount borrowed, but not always. For example, you put down $25 and leverage it 4 to 1 or 4x to borrow the $75 to buy $100 worth of Bitcoin. Now, some exchanges offer up to 100x leverage, which is great if you're an investor and you take a 100x position and you bet correctly. But it can be devastating if you take that 100x leverage and lose the bet as the price goes in the opposite direction and you have to pay back what you borrowed and have nothing to show for it. It is this high leveraging that many jurisdictions are looking at banning from their citizens in order to protect them from this high degree of risk, or so they say. A Canadian YouTuber, whose channel goes by the name Crypto for Canadians, has created a video suggesting some alternative options for those in Ontario who will no longer be able to use Binance come the end of the year, and I've included the link down below. Sorry for the change in camera angle. My camera stopped working in the middle of this video. Also, since the drop of the Bitcoin price and the overall crypto market, we have been introduced to the concept of the Wyckoff accumulation model, something that, as far as I know, has never been discussed in the crypto circle until now. I will not try to explain it. You can research it yourself if you wish, but basically it was a model created by Richard Wyckoff in relation to the stock market, and he tried to help the retail investors understand how whales were manipulating the market and to come up with a plan to compete with the big guys. So, transferring this to crypto, it seems like a way to explain what has been happening to Bitcoin lately, how whales are buying and selling Bitcoin to try and shake out the retail investors and buy Bitcoin at a cheaper price. And when overlaid with the current Bitcoin chart, It certainly looks like this model holds true. Then there's the stock to flow model that I've referenced to before. Bitcoin was following the model so well, in fact, moving above the projected trajectory at one point, suggesting those with very large price predictions of Bitcoin in the 200,000 plus range was looking to be accurate. But then April 16th hit and the Bitcoin price began to fall, causing the trajectory of Bitcoin to fall in the opposite direction of the model, and as of today, sits well below the expected prediction. But as Plan B, the creator of the model, recently tweeted here, he does not believe the bull run is over and 65,000 was not the top for this Bitcoin cycle. So to wrap up this video, where I've mainly focused on the negative price action within the crypto market space, I've recently observed an optimistic tone in the YouTubers that I listen to, as well as the news stories out there. We have Michael Saylor of MicroStrategy, who buys $489 million worth of Bitcoin, and the company now holds more than 100,000 Bitcoins. We have billionaire Steve Cohen saying, I'm doing a deep dive into crypto. I'm fully converted. I'm not missing this. We have financial advisor Rick Eldman, who sees tremendous investment opportunities in Bitcoin. And Mexico's third richest man recommends Bitcoin. His bank is working to accept Bitcoin. And if that's not bullish enough, recently El Salvador voted to accept Bitcoin as legal tender in their country, which now forces the hand of other countries to figure out the implications of this, particularly the other countries in that region of the world. So moving forward, what have I learned from the recent events in the digital asset space? Well, I think I will pay more attention to Warren Buffett's quote, "Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful." I will also need to remember that nobody ever lost money taking a profit. Therefore, I will be more focused on setting sell price targets when everything is going parabolic. Whether I note them on paper or on my spreadsheets, or I set stop losses on the exchanges I use, I will follow the prices of my assets more closely, and I will look to take profits when I notice prices dropping by a certain percentage. Many YouTubers who I watch and have learned from express their regret of not selling their assets at the top of the last bull market. They watch their unrealized value fall to the point where it was too late to sell and had no other option but to hold on to these assets through the bear market. They regretted not selling in order to have some dry powder that they could reinvest into other assets once the prices settled down again. This is how I feel right now, and I'm sure many others do as well, as we watch the value of our cryptocurrencies fall recently. So moving forwards, I think what I've learned is that I like to be prepared for the next downturn, and in order to do so, I need to take profits at the right time in order to have some dry powder on the sidelines in order to buy those next dips. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.